All right. Here we go. Hi, everyone. All right. It's just getting started here. All right. All right. So, hello, everyone. Tonight is Activation Monday, and I'm so excited to. There's going to maybe be some participants here on Zoom as well as the live. So this is the debut of the Activation Live Instagram. Really, really excited because I'm just going to go in some really amazing, powerful topics. And tonight is why you are stuck and it's not what you think. It's remembering who you are beyond the story. And yeah, we're going to go into it right now. If you're just joining right now, welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're just going to get into it. This is going to be an hour-long session that we're going to go into. This is also the debut of the Activation Monday Live. So we're going to have this live every Monday. So um, here we go. Yeah, back to what we're going to be talking about. So Activation Monday is going to be specifically on why you are stuck. It is not what you think. And most of us are living from a different kind of perspective and a reality. Oh, hello. I see the stars. I'm just going to pop in and say hi when I can. And yeah, so we're basically living in a story of a younger version of ourselves. And that is the story that we have been living in since pretty much since we were born, since our childhood. And some of us may understand that, some of us may be learning it. Everybody's on different journeys and understand this very differently. So tonight is really about becoming aware of the story that you're living and what's running in the background. So there's the story that we have, and there's all this stuff in the background. This it really seems to be running the show, and so that's where it's at. Um, Here we go. So I'm going to go into that. So again, welcome for all who's joining. So whoever is joining live, I welcome. We got Club Indigo Music. Hello, hello. I'm just doing a wave for you. And then whoever is going to be jumping in, I imagine it's going to be in and out. And that's okay. We're just going to dive into it. And then if you're watching this later, please feel free to just follow along as if you're here live, because that's what it's about. So there's no time. So I want to just start with asking a question. So let's start with that. Thank you for the hearts. Have you ever felt like you know exactly what you need to do with your life, but yet you don't do it? And somehow you can't seem to do it. Or maybe you start it and you just fall off track of it. So maybe you wanted to finally start certain things in our parts of your life. For example, I'm just going to throw a few examples out, and that could be maybe you want to start a business or a project, or maybe you want to speak your truth. Maybe you want to heal a relationship that you are, knowing that needs to be healed, whether it's a friendship or intimate relationship. Or maybe it's just about taking better care of yourself. And most of all, maybe it's just about trusting yourself. I think it's a big one for a lot of us, trusting our feelings, trusting what we're feeling, and trusting that there's a reason why we have a feeling. So, yet every week we begin it with these promises that we have. I'm gonna do a little wave right here. And this is really about not just like honoring the promise that you make for yourself. We're going to go beyond that, because this is not going to be about guilt and shaming yourself because you made these goals and promises to yourself about improving these aspects of your life. However, it's really about just being honest with yourself and being a place of truth. So that's what we're going to go into, and then I'm just going to go in the teaching, and maybe I can bring into a few people in a little bit later. So here we go. Just want to say this out loud, but as we're continuing this journey tonight, and as you're with me now, is if you're in that place where you do start these things, or you have like these goals and promises that you want to like do for yourself, just understand that it's not about that you're lazy or you're lacking motivation or that you're broken. It has nothing to do with any of those things. So be gentle on yourself here. So you ever find yourself like, yeah, there's that thing I'm supposed to be doing, and I started every week, but then I stopped, I dropped it. No, just stop right there, take a deep breath in, and just let it go because it's not about that. I believe that you're living from an identity that you just created years ago, most likely your childhood. And tonight we're going to go a little deeper of what that can be. We're going to unveil this a little bit, very gently and very lovingly. We're going to come through this together. We're going to uncover where it came from. Okay. And not so much we're going to dive too much and dissect the story. It's not about reliving the trauma. That's like the last thing we're going to do here, but it's just about being aware and uncover what it is that's been lingering all these years. So I'm going to go into a little bit of a question. And in the comments, please feel free to put this down. And tell me if there's like an area in your life that you feel stuck in. Like, is it a relationship thing? Is it a money thing? Confidence, purpose, something with your health, or just something else entirely? Just feel free to put that in the comments. And just think about it. So if you're watching this for the first time, just start to think about what areas in your life that you know that you need to bring back or to change and focus on again. And what it is that you do feel stuck and what it is that you're ready to be unstuck with. So again, that could be any area of your life. So we live in this world of unlimited amount of information. We're completely bombarded. I was talking about this last week. And I was bringing up a lot on social media. And yeah, that's like a big one. Social media. I bash social media because I'm actually using social media right now. So thumbs up right now on social media because it could be actually a really good resource. However, we are bombarded by a lot of information. And we have books out there that we read, podcasts that we follow, courses, online courses, physical courses, all these courses. I've done a lot of this work. We watch videos, YouTube videos, information overload, like all over. So if information alone was just to change lives, then everybody would be thriving right now. So it's not just about the information and knowledge that you know. So why is it that we don't change? What's really going on there? It's our subconscious mind that is designed to keep us safe. And this goes all the way back to when you were a little girl or a little boy or just little and you have an experience and it's trying to keep you safe. That experience is infused within you and it sticks with you all your life, even to adulthood, until one day you become aware of it. So the challenge is often it it's just go back to a place that's familiar, a place that feels safe. And that's what a lot of us are doing. So here we go. So if you spend years doubting yourself and confidence has been actually like this uncomfortable feeling, like because these self-doubt comes in, or maybe you feel confident for a while and then suddenly like little by little, like a little monster comes creeping in, a little self-doubt, a little this, little questions, like what's going on there? Or have you actually just done something where you're just like, oh yeah, this is it. I'm so excited and passionate about this, right? And let me just check here something. Okay, yeah. And suddenly, like, yeah, there's this other like dialogue coming in. It just creeps out of nowhere. And you're like, whoa, what is that? What is this thing in the background that is suddenly making me feel doubtful or insecure? And then you suddenly like take a different direction because of it. Like, have you ever experienced anything like that? And most likely you have. So we're living in different programming that is running in the background of our mind. And so, for example, if you live in the programming of scarcity, okay, receiving abundance can actually feel more unfamiliar than not receiving abundance, right? If you start to pour in your nice, you're like, no, no, so I gotta like find a way to get rid of it. So I'm just start spending until I don't have anymore, so I can be comfortable not having money. This sounds kind of crazy, right? I mean, and you may be aware of it, but it's true. Like this is the things that are happening in the back of our mind. It's crazy. So choosing yourself in a way that is not feeling selfish, but just understanding, choosing yourself in a way that like, I'm going to listen to myself and whatever that inner voice, subconscious voice wants to say. So your subconscious is there to protect you, to keep you safe. It's not trying to sabotage you. That's what's the irony of it all. However, it's just trying to keep you safe. But then another outcome happens because it is trying to keep you safe and to the familiar. You find yourself sabotaging whatever needs to crumble down just so you can go back to that familiar story of who you think you are and how your life should be and what it should look like. That is the truth. And I think many of us can think of examples of when we have done that. Feel free to throw that in the comments if you have an example of it. But it's okay. You can just watch too. So Carl Jung, he said this just perfectly, like brilliantly. This is a Carl Jung quote, one of my favorites. He says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So just think about that for a moment. Fate. What is fate? How many times we say, "Oh, that's just the way things are supposed to be. That's the way, yeah, I guess that's my fate." This always happens to me. That's just who I am. And then, maybe that's just the way life just turns out and I just got to accept it. And, I can go on and on. These are just like examples. Like think of moments like that when you have these thoughts. Okay. Now you think that's who you are. You think that's your personality, but the truth is it's not. It's this programming that's telling you this is who you are, this is what's comfortable. So yeah, run that same story over and over and over again. Those things that you say to yourself like a broken record. So what if this is simply just, a unconscious pattern that's just been running quietly like in a program. So you can think of your brain like a computer and it has an operating system. It has things that are, basically take a thing, okay, this, that, just kind of pieces together. That's what an operating system is. And you have programs in the operating system that run specific programs. Like you have a program that runs, yeah, I'm just bringing a computer analogy. I love computer analogy because it really puts things to perspective. So you got your emotional programming, okay, which, that runs all your emotional stuff. That's got to keep it going and going. Then you got your thoughts. You got to have all your thoughts lined up, and then your emotions. These are actually separate programmings. And then you have all the registered stories running in the background, memories, we call it, right? These are little memories that are plugged into your brain or maybe even to your body. It's just plugged in. And that's the perceptional story that you have stored in these areas that are also running in the background of your mind. So now what really can change all that, or not necessarily change, but just to understand what these programmings are. How do you find these programmings? If they're running in the subconscious background of your mind, how are you going to identify them? Now, this is the question that I think many of us ask, and maybe not many of us know how to actually figure this out. So let's continue. Well, the first thing is simple, and I think a lot of us have heard this, which is just awareness. And I like to discern the difference between awareness and loving awareness. That's what Ram Dass talks about, loving awareness. Awareness about things that you do, right? You ever do something and you're like, oh, there's that thing I do, and then you get upset at yourself because you do it, or maybe it's a pattern that you keep repeating that you know that you want to break, but and then you think you did. Like that's my favorite is when you think you broke a pattern, you're like, yeah, you finally conquered that, or maybe it's a habit that you thought you got over, maybe it's an addiction or whatever it is. You just think you're done. Then when you're least expecting it, comes back. And you're like, oh no, not that again. I thought I was over it. So just being aware of that is really, that's the first sign. And if you just have a loving awareness over that. And the difference between awareness and loving awareness is that you can have awareness about that thing that you do. Let's just talk about the pattern, but yet you're judging yourself, or you're judging the situation, or maybe you're judging other people around there. So that's an example of an awareness. But if you're judging yourself, then it just infuses and it just puts all this other energy behind it that just basically keeps you trapped. So if you have loving awareness, then just you come back at yourself like this beautiful best friend, nurturing person that you can possibly be. Okay. And I know it's like look at yourself, and I like to bring this analogy a lot because it's true. It's a good one. Look at yourself like a little child that is just figuring things out. And maybe they make a lot of mistakes, and maybe they're repeating some of the things that perhaps they could have, well, you think that they would learn by now, but haven't. So come into this place of just loving yourself. Oh, you're doing that thing. Do this. I'm gonna bring someone in, view request. Let's do it. Yes, we got a participant. Yay! Let's see if I did that right. I don't know if I did or not. Okay. I'm just doing that for the first time. Oh, that worked. Hello, hello. Hi. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for you to accept me on the chat. It's a good one.
Right? This is a good one. This is a good one. I'm gonna go deep here. Yeah.
I like the inner child. It's like it's
right?
like the best, I think. Yeah. I was giving that tip yesterday to like 10 people in an event, and like I thought it was funny. I was like, then again, the inner child.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about the inner child. And I like to say, to put that into a different perspective as an inner child, like just think of yourself as a child. Like sometimes oh, inner child work, like just look at yourself like a little kid. Like, I have a picture of myself. I'm gonna actually show you. I have this picture of me.
Oh, that's so cool.
So this is what I would call my inner child. But I actually just call her my little girl, like that. And I keep her uh here because reminds me that I'm just a little girl just figuring things out. And I was just this little girl. So a lot of the things I'm talking about, and we're going to go into more of the subconscious programming and all the things that we have running in the background, is from our child side. We're just like, we have learned. Here I am, little child. I was like 10 years old here, right?
That's cute.
It's cute. I have unicorns too, right? It's so cute.
For me, I have to remember too. I'm gonna go grab it.
Oh, yeah, bring it. You'll see it. Yeah.
It's for me, for remembrance of my inner child, is that little statuette.
Oh,
it's a little geisha, and I put it in the bathroom, like near the mirror. So like when I get ready,
yeah.
And like sometime when I'm sad or whatever, I would talk to her. Like she's like the little me inside of me.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, it could be whatever.
It could be whatever. I just picked this photo because I like that had a unicorn. Anyway,
no, that's great.
Be whatever picture. You could like toy stuff, animal, blanket, whatever reminds you of the inner child, and or just that little child, or whatever you want to say. And I have the child, so my little inner child, I gave her a name, and I called her Star.
Oh, that's cute.
Right, because that was the name of the unicorn that I had when I was a little Star. So when I make mistakes, and what I'm talking about is these programmings, we're like having these memories, stories. It's just like we don't remember it verbatim. Like sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. And these are the stories that have shaped us in our adult life. And these are the beliefs that were in these broken record kind of things that are saying who we are, coming from a child. So when we have a pattern that we're doing that keeps coming back, rather than yelling at yourself, this is what we do. We yell at ourselves, like, "Oh, we did that thing. How could you?" Maybe looking yourself in the mirror and yell at yourself.
Yeah, no, it's true, because like that's bad. Like when you like always say, because you register that, right? So like when you say all the time, like, "Fuck, this is so stupid. What I did is so stupid," and it's something that we do often, right?
A lot. So much.
And like I had to work on that so much, like to when it happens, like it's instant. It's to be, no, I'm not stupid. I did like the best, and I tried to like correct that, but it's tough.
it's tough. And it's funny because you try not to do it, but it's so embedded, like
It's
something
so embarrassing. Yeah,
so
it's
embedded.
so
Like one
embarrassing.
minute
Yeah.
you make that mistake or something happy, like you're like, oh no, I did it again. You're like, oh, why? And
No, and even when you're aware of it, it's still doing it. Like the only
yeah,
thing you can do is like change the directive after. But like it's been like what 2 years now I'm working on that, and even then I will have that reaction and
yeah,
be pissed at me. And after that though, I do like a great speech in positive to converse that. But it's crazy
exactly.
that it comes right away.
It comes right away. And and I like to say everybody out there and to everybody, it's not your fault. No one's doing anything wrong here. And the last thing you want to do is guilt and shame yourself for having these thoughts that come in, or whether it's an inner dialogue or you verbalize it when it however it comes out. So for example, the stories of mistakes. So I'm gonna share the story in a moment. This is relevant. So get a little personal here about these stories that we literally run. This is the programming that I have been running, and I'm still, still healing from. It's not like I figured it all out.
And slowly but surely, right?
Right. Yeah. Until I'm like a guru living on top of Mount Everest or something, I'm probably gonna keep repeating some of these stories, most likely. But, it's like peeling onion, you get, more and more and more. So, yeah, so basically, as the child that we're living in and we make these mistakes, we have these stories that run. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of what my stories were. So for example, I used to believe that I wasn't very smart. I grew up with a learning disability, and I watched other kids like thrive in the academics, and I was just like, it was like a deer in headlights for me. It was actually traumatizing to go to school because I always would have to face the fear of me not being able to learn like everybody else. And I had no idea. This is back in the 80s. So I'm doing a little like, dating my age a little bit.
You look crunchy.
If I look good now, who cares how old I am, right? But it was the 80s, and it was, they have way more information of all this, like, probably it's a little bit overkill, I would say, but it's okay. We have our ebb and flows. But at the time, they didn't have any information about learning disabilities or even really to handle kids with ADHD. I had ADHD.
Yeah, no, even in my time,
Yeah.
no.
No, not at all.
No.
Exactly. And I had like dyslexia. I had whatever I had, all these things, whatever. I don't like to label myself, but I did struggle with this. And so without realizing, I was like creating a whole story in my head. And because like I'm just living in my perception, so I don't know any better. I'm literally like, so I just want to point this out is like we all are the characters of our own life, and everything that we're living. The reason why we create stories is we're basically a main character in our own perception. I call it the perceptual reality. We perceive what we perceive, and even though other
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
have their perception, we're living our example. And as a little child like this here, she doesn't know any difference. She doesn't know what's true or not true. She's just living it, and her emotions infuse the memory, and that's how we store it. And so,
Yeah.
so I believe other people were smarter than me, and I said I can be creative because I was very artistic, so I was really good at drawing and all that. So I just have this idea like, oh, I'm always going I could be a great artist, but I can never be like a business person. I don't know numbers. I don't know how to run any of those things. Um, I don't have what it takes. I don't have that. I'm just gonna just settle with this. And so for years I believed in those to be facts. Like that became my truth, even though it wasn't. Like
Yeah,
100% not
no, no,
true.
yeah, for sure. But it's like once you repeat the story nonstop, it became pretty much a reality. Your brain don't see really the difference with the story and the reality because it's like just imprinted there.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just imprinted, and it's just we don't even know. And that's what so this is what we're living by. We're living by these memories of stories infused in our, not just our memory, but in our bodies energetically. So I'm gonna go I'm just explain that. So basically I was growing up like that, and because when we're kids, we're criticized, we make mistakes, we make failures, and then people come at us and they're like judging us, or they saying things, and it does put these high emotions. And as a very sensitive child, as all of us are when we're born, whether we're more sensitive or not,
Well,
I was already very
this,
highly sensitive.
if you think about it, this is why we go to school. Like, I mean, when you're a kid, it's really easier to learn a new language, to like learn stuff because your brain is a sponge. So, knowing that your brain is a sponge, as you can learn how to write and do mathematics, well, if somebody tell you weird shit about yourself every day of your life when you were a kid, it can take forever to forget about it. I mean, everybody know 1 + 1 = 2. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody said you shit about yourself when you're a kid, don't tell me get over it. Like it's easy to get over it because no, you cannot make me
Can't.
forget my mathematics.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
you forget some stuff sometimes from school, but some other you don't because you repeat them enough or the
Mm-hmm.
story was not good that you remember those. So I
Right.
think traumas, as you say, are pretty much
Trauma.
the same.
Yeah, that's the trauma. Trauma is just basically trauma is just an effused memory, and the trauma is like the negative outcome of that. It's like you have this memory that creates such a heightened state of emotion that emotion infused not just the memory but the beliefs and the stories, everything around that. And it's like in your body, in your memory, and that's what trauma is. And then, well, the opposite of trauma is you could take that memory positive experience. Let's say you had like the best Christmas of your life with your family or whatever that I'm just throwing an example. I think just some kind of memory that says like, wow, that most amazing thing happened. It was the best time of my life. And it creates this positive reinforcement and it maybe inspires you. Maybe it takes this positive course where you're actually like, I want to, experience traveling, or I want to learn this culture, or I'm so inspired by this, I want to become an artist, whatever. I don't know. It creates like a positive reinforcement or some positive outcome versus the trauma. So it's almost like
Well,
two ends of the
I have a
spectrum.
question with that, with a real example, because it's the one that I was dealing with and I still deal with it. So when I was a kid, like you, like I was really bullied. So like they always said to
Mm-hmm.
me I was ugly. And all my life, for 17 years, being said every day that you're ugly more than once a day by adult, by youngs, by whatever, it imprints so much nuts perspective. And like when I see myself in a mirror, when I look at photo of me, I know that I'm a beautiful woman because I could judge myself to a degree and be that woman would be beautiful, but do I feel it? So when I go in a room or when I am in my day to day, I don't feel beautiful. I work at things that I know,
Mm-hmm.
but feel. And
Mm-hmm.
you see, in a fact like this, how do you change that? Because like I don't pinpoint how. It's really so deep and it's not making sense, but it is what it is, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how I feel it. And it's horrible, and I wish I could feel it. And I don't know how to reprogram my brain. I don't know if you have
Yeah,
an
yeah.
idea of that because I know a lot of people maybe feel like this too. So
Right. That's why I'm bringing it up now because I grew up like this, and I've been on my spiritual quest for over 20 years, and I've done the ayahuasca, I've done like the journeys, I've done all these things, and I was like chasing after the answer, only to realize and to come to one truth that matters the most out of everything that truly gave me a whole up leveling of my personal awakening, which is understanding the brain. The subconscious programming. It's the driving force of everything that we create in our life as an adult and what we do. Every action, every choice we make, it's run in this programming background in the mind. So I've made and that's why I'm so passionate about what I do is because I'm like I understand that now, and I had to train my own brain how to or I'm training, obviously it's not perfect, but I've trained so much already, like where it's just understanding and becoming aware. Like and again I bring up the loving awareness because that's really really important. When you start to become aware of these patterns, it's not easy to admit you're making the same choices of the same pattern. The brain wants to keep you safe and it wants to be familiar. So it'll do everything it can to keep you in that pattern. Like it will lie to you to keep you safe. That's how strong it is. And I'm going to bring up this system, which is very, very, this is what happens to our brain. So this is a physical thing that happens to our brain, the subconscious programming, and there's more science to this. I'm not trying to get too sciencey, but it's called, this is the filtration that happens to your brain. You may have heard of this. So a lot of you may have. It's called the reticular activating system. And you may be familiar, but basically it's just a filter in your basically brine. Let's say this is your filter, your third eye. Actually, no. Actually, the third eye. Okay, just a little plug in. The third eye will pierce out of the reticular activating system and give you the truth. That's just that's why I do the third eye so much, because it pierces through that. I'll explain in a moment, but I'm getting ADHD right now. But reticular activating system, known as RAS or RAS, because my Kansas side wants to say RAS as ass. So it basically filters out the what you see. Okay, your perception of reality. So what you're seeing out in the world, your brain is there's so much information happening to your brain all at once. In order for it to not get overwhelmed or overstimulated, there's the reticular activating system. So it literally will filter and give you train your brain to do this, by the way. You train your brain what information is allowed to come in and what can be pushed out. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is what we do. And since like, back in childhood all the way to up. So we literally like, okay, yes, that, no, this, yes, yeah. So what happens when something new or unfamiliar shows up? Guess what happens? Your your filtration sends you an alarm going, wait, file not found. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, this isn't familiar. You're off course. You're off course. No, get back on course. It literally will do and create panic. You'll feel panic in your whole body because your brain is sending chemicals and saying, this is unfamiliar. Stop what you're doing. Go back to your safety. Go back to your corner. Don't do that thing that you're about to do. Now, does that mean for everything? No, because like obviously you reach in dangerous situations or things like that. So, but this is just when you suddenly become aware of your filtering system. You become aware of it. So, for example, when you basically see something, I'll bring a basic example. So, let's say you want to buy a car. This is like a go-to example. You want to buy a car. Like I want to buy what kind of car do you want to buy actually? I'll bring it back to you. If you were to buy a car, what car would you want to buy?
A G-Wagon.
A G-Wagon?
Black, not G-Wagon.
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
It's like a Mercedes, like the square one. They look really like, you're gonna come and kill or do a business deal.
All right.
Yeah.
G-Wagon.
Yeah, you would check after.
Okay, I'm gonna check after. Okay.
In Hollywood for sure.
All right. Well, now, okay, this is actually a good example, and I'll tell you why. So G-Wagon, right? That's what it's called. Okay, so G-Wagon. So let's say you G-Wagon, all right? Let's say you just maybe you never seen a G. I've actually not. I don't even talk about. I'm actually gonna experiment this project right after this. So I've never seen a G-Wagon. So I don't know what you're talking about, but now I'm really curious. But anyway, let's say you want to buy a G-Wagon. And then you okay, so you go out in the world and guess what you suddenly see out there in the world? Some like out of nowhere, because one day you saw something on the internet or social media, you're like, G-Wagon, that looks cool, I want it. And then
but like the moment that you want it, you see it everywhere. Like I see it everywhere. Like for
Yeah.
me, like this is like I want it even more. Like that and a dog is a corgi. Like I want a corgi, so no, I see the corgis everywhere. Like it's just pop out. Like it's like corgi G-Wagon, just corgi G-Wagon.
G-Wagon.
That.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I'm gonna
since the moment I wanted it, I saw once and it just you're right. It's something in my head and now I can see them everywhere.
Now you see them everywhere. So now you have this awareness that first of all they exist, and now you see them all over the place. Because because now you have filtered something through your reticular activation system, your RAS, that you have allowed into your awareness. So,
Yeah.
that's how it works. So like once you become aware of something and you let it in, then you're going to see it all the time.
So how can you do that in a positive way to be able to help you?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So,
Yes.
so so your brain is going to basically want to provide you evidence of what it is that you're aware. And then we're just talking about something physical right now. But let's talk about if you have let's just say negative thinking. That's a good one.
Yes.
It's like
Let's
negative
just
thinking.
yeah.
Keep it
In
simple.
general, yes.
So you have negative thoughts running in the background. And let's just talk about one specific thing that runs in the background. And that could be like, well, there was one that I did recently, which actually I kind of turned it around, but I kept saying I don't know. I don't know. And but I said it in this frustrating kind of way, not in a way. Now when I say I don't know is because I surrender, so it's kind of different. But when I was saying I don't know, I don't know. So anyway, I don't know if this is the best example, but you have something that runs that you keep saying, like, oh, I don't know, you get, and it just every time you find yourself in a situation, that's basically what happens. So it shows up. And then you start to catch yourself saying that. Like, oh, I said that thing. And then maybe some time goes by and you catch yourself again. Oh, I say I don't know a lot, actually. And then you're kind of starting to become aware of the fact that you say I don't know a lot. Or, me, I'm talking about me. I say I don't know a lot. And then maybe I'm having a conversation with someone and then a friend says, "Hey," they say something like, "I don't know." And he's like, "You said that a lot." And now two things can happen. I could take that and take a negative way, thinking, oh, I'm repeating myself on this pattern, and so I can criticize myself for it. It's like, why do I keep saying it? That's, stop saying it, don't do it. Or coming back to loving awareness, just be aware that I'm saying it and I can just kind of dissect it. It's like, well, why is it that I say that? Why do I say I don't know?
Mm.
What am I trying to do there? Or what do I get out of saying I don't know when in these maybe stressful situations? That's kind of what was happening. I'd be something's happening. I don't know. It was like a release. I was getting something out of saying that. It was like letting me off the hook.
Yeah.
And that's so it's like in a loving way rather than like, and I could have gone another way, and I have done that too, where I say something. I'm just bringing this for example. Oh, I don't know. And then someone says, "Hey, you keep saying that." You're like, well, that's just who I am. I just say things, and sometimes I just don't know, and again, I'll be defensive about it.
Yeah, I don't like when people is saying that's just who I am. I'm like, that's hiding something.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example. When people say, "Oh, that's just the way I am," isn't no, it's it like who's behind the words that are coming out? Who's the one saying these things? Oh, that's the way I am. That's back to these stories that we tell ourselves. Oh, that's just like, and I remember, and this is how people don't want to, and I'm gonna go a little deep about this, is when people don't want to hold themselves accountable. Sorry. They say things, and I'm not, I'm speaking also from my own experience, so it's not like, and so they say like, oh, that's just the way I am, or and maybe they have a tendency of when they feel overwhelmed, they take it out on someone or they take it out on something. This is like a negative thing, right? And I get really overwhelmed by something. Oh, I'm overloaded. Like you all, and they got to blame somebody. You don't do
Yeah.
this or you don't do that, and I wouldn't be like this. And Like that's just how I am. Rather than just stopping and say, okay, I'm becoming overwhelmed. This particular emotion comes at me and it feels like I can't seem to control it, and I need I'll blame something or blame someone because it helps me release the tension that I'm feeling in my body.
And it's easier to like just blame something else and then just take off a bit the edge than actually confronting the situation itself, right?
Or pay because instant gratification is just that. Like you may feel relieved in that moment and maybe even get
Yeah,
away
it's
with
not.
it.
Yeah, no, I know it's not like it's instant gratification. Yes, obviously.
Yeah, and then but then you have to live with the same pattern for them. Deep down inside, there's something in their heart, there's something within them deep that there is truth. And when there's reaction, when there's a pattern, there's a reason that it feels like, okay, that I'm repeating this pattern, and then you catch yourself these repeating the pattern, but there's something like, wait a minute, there's some truth to this. So I'm gonna go a little exercise actually to talk about what that could be. And so we have these different ways within us that we want to change, whether it's a pattern, whether like you're wanting something we're right now we're just kind of talking about patterns, but maybe there's just something you want to bring in your life. And I was kind of bringing this earlier, like you want to start that thing, you want to do that thing that it's good for you, that health regime, that exercising. Like I've actually started to become aware of that too. Like I'm not exercising enough because I used to go dancing all the time. I'm not doing that as much. I wish I
Yeah,
would.
no, I have the same problem. I'm like, yeah, I went like, oh, what I should do.
Yeah, it's like I'm starting to realize I need to move my body because I have a lot of energy, and if I just sit somewhere, it doesn't no bueno. Like I gotta do something. So that's just my awareness of needing to know for my own health, mental health, physical health, and all that. I need to start to pick up on some more exercise. So that's just an example. There's more and I mentioned a few examples earlier about relationships. If you're wanting to improve on a relationship, if you want to bring in a relationship, or you want to start that business idea, that project, whatever it is, the thing you want to do, or if it is just a pattern that you want to break free of, all this is relevant. And it's just the blockages, or the stuckness, as we say, is just that inner voice, subconscious voice, that is like trying to keep you familiar, trying to keep you safe. Like, no, 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 stay in these grounds. But inside that part that is true, the truthful part that knows I can't keep doing this anymore. Something's got to change. So I'm gonna just go into like a little brief exercise right now before the activation. And I'm just going to ask these questions. You can fill in the blanks. If someone's watching a replay of this, you can also pause it and feel free to grab a piece of paper or journal and then write this out if you want to go a little bit deeper with this. Um, but feel free to just like hear the question and fill it up in your mind. That's fine too.
Or you can, when you're gonna post the live online on Instagram, you can put the question too in the
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yes, I will do that
I'm here
too.
for that, baby.
I know, you're so good at that. Thank you.
You see,
Keep me
that's
on
the inner
point.
kid. That's the inner kid.
Yes. And this one. Thank you. My inner child thanks your inner child.
Yeah, you see, we're kids. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a kid. It doesn't. I'm a forever child.
7 years old and a 7 years old at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. 7. I'm all the things.
So yeah, like it's perfect. Put like all the question in
Yeah. I will.
on there, and like yeah.
I will do that. And so I'm just going to say the questions now just to get it out there. And then feel free to, if someone's watching this replay, you can pause it, whatever fits for you. Or just fill in the blanks as I say these questions. That's also nice too, because I do recommend that the first thing that pops into your mind is the thing that needs to come through. Don't judge it. Don't dismiss it. Don't think if it has to be a certain way. So this is what I call, so this is the fill in the blank questions right now. So I'll just say it. First one is, I always told myself that I am, see what comes through.
At least this one was positive on my side, so that's good.
Oh, good. That shows you the work you've been doing for yourself.
Yeah, finally.
Exactly. And now ask yourself, and then so we go, and it could be like, and maybe there's something specific. Let's talk about if you have like something you want to improve on, and you can ask yourself the question, like say I want to improve my health and I'm not doing it. So I've always told myself that I'm just not the workout type. I don't like the gym. And that's me answering my own question. Please fill in your own question. This is just me like giving an example. Then the next question is who taught me that? And was that an experience that I had? Maybe was it like a parent that told me something, a teacher, or maybe it was in a relationship, with a friend. Like, where did that come from? Why am I saying that? And I can like sit with myself and think about that. Where did that come from? And then what story have I been collecting evidence for? So meaning what story have you created that gives it evidence for you to believe in the story? I'm not a gym person. What evidence am I going to pull out that's going to make that solidify or it's going to validate that story? And again, this is not your story. This is just an example story. If I believe I already had enough, what would I begin noticing about myself in my life? So if you had all the things that you're seeking, let's say, whatever goals or the thing that you want or improve on, or maybe you got rid of that pattern, what would I begin to notice about myself and my life? Like what would change basically? And would there be things that stayed the same or something would change after that? So, again, you can just kind of deeper reflect on that. And then think about a story and about, let's just think of something you want to improve on right now. Could be anything. And if there is something that you're wanting to bring in that you haven't brought in yet because you feel like it's just like a broken thing, why don't I have that thing yet? I should have that thing by now. Maybe something in your career or finances. That's always a big one, especially right now. Like what's the money blocks? What story? Let's just talk about money. Let's talk about what's really uncomfortable. Money. Let's say there's a certain financial part of your life that you want to bring more of, or maybe less of. Like, what is the story behind that? Like, what dialogue do you have that you don't even know, or maybe you're aware of or not? Like, is there like a little what's running in the background? Like, oh, I don't have enough. It goes out faster than it comes in. These are just examples, you know. And money's a big one for a lot. I know I've been working that for years, and these are just stories. And once you believe in these stories, you can also unbelieve these stories. So just because they're stories and you believe them, you have a choice to continue to believe them, or you can become aware of the stories. First, by becoming aware of the stories, aware of the thoughts, aware of what's running in the background. And then from there, you can change the story. So we're going to shift this a little bit. We have about 10 minutes. I want to go into going to go into an activation, but before that, I'm going to mention a few things. So just become aware of the story that you feel that you're just maybe tired of hearing in your head. Or not just in your head, maybe you're just telling people in your life the same story. Oh, da, 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 da. Like, how many times have you told the same story? And maybe it feels so true that there's no way you could even think another story can be possible because that story is what shaped you to who you are today. And maybe it served for a very long time, that story. Maybe it brought you a certain level of success or certain achievements or whatever. Or it just could have been a story that kept you surviving or shaped whatever it is that brought you to now. Ask yourself now this question. Does this story still serve me? Has the story ever served me? And do I want to continue telling myself the same story? Do you want to wake up in the morning tomorrow saying the same thing about yourself? Do you want to repeat that dialogue that comes out, that part? Do you want to repeat those feelings? So I like that space right now to think about what these could be. And know that these stories are not permanent, that you do actually have the power to change them. And it may be not overnight, but anything's possible. Sometimes you can find something and make a choice just like that. And sometimes you may need to nurture yourself a little bit longer, and that's okay too. There's no like right or wrong way of noticing something about a story or a pattern or something that feels blocked or stuck. You can just be from here and make a slight adjustment here. And then maybe just slowly start to change the story until maybe you change it so much that you're completely on a different course altogether. So here you are, you think you're here, and this is your life, this is your identity, this defines you. But then open up a little bit, relax, and let other stories come through. And if you don't know what those stories are, let's take a journey now and discover what it could be. Would you like to go on a little magic carpet ride of a new story?
Yes. Yay. I'm just sweet.
Perfect. Here we go. So you can go into a relaxed place, and we're gonna go and we're gonna keep it simple. Just pick one thing, one little story that you want to change for yourself, that you feel stuck in, and just imagine that in your mind. And just really allow the space for yourself to just tune into that. Even sit with it, even feel the emotions that come through. Feel what it is to feel stuck. Feel what it is to repeat that pattern, to repeat that thing, or to feel like you're wanting to move forward with something, but that thing that stops you or blocks you, you just go into that for a moment. And just allow yourself this space to just dive into it. And then imagine this just coming up a little bit more. Like, let it come through. Let those emotions and feelings just like surface, like muddling up the water. Maybe it's like been sitting in the bottom of a cup, right? You stir it up and it comes up. Let it come up. So that one thing that you're really wanting to change, that pattern, why is it that it shows up for you? How do you feel when it does show up? And think of the most recent moment that you know that that's happened for you. Whether it's a pattern, whether it's something you're trying to do, but it didn't work out, whatever it is, that last moment where you're like, oh, it didn't happen or it didn't pull through. Why? Just sit with that for a moment. And in that space, maybe there's some emotions coming through. Maybe it's disappointment. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's frustration. Just continue to feel that and let it surface. And imagine that point. Oh, you did it. Oh, what can you do? And you that the frustration, like, oh, not that again. And then when that happens, that the thing happens, the pattern happens. or that point where you feel stuck. Imagine yourself in it. And maybe you're screaming or crying or whatever is happening in that moment. Or maybe it's just like, ah, this is your journey. You can feel it how you want to feel. Now, imagine yourself like this little child that comes in. And then maybe you're in the same room together. Just imagine you're in a room doing this. And then that little version of yourself walks in the room. And they come in and maybe they're feeling the same thing that you're feeling. The emotions come through, crying, frustration, sadness, all comes through. And they're in their moment. And then you come in and you see them. Oh no, they're crying, they're upset. What is it? Talk to me. And you approach this little version of you because you're this little child just expressing itself. And you go and you approach that child, that version of you, the little you. And then you walk up and maybe you go and reach out for their hand. And you grab their hand and maybe you want to say something to that little version of you. What would you like to say in that moment for yourself, that little you? What would you choose to say in that moment? Would you choose yelling at this little child and say, no, you did the thing again. How dare you? Bad, bad. Shame them? Or instead, you continue to hold their hand and you give them love, compassion. Maybe you want to guide them with, oh, come down. You sit them down, put them on your lap. You say, it's okay. Tell me about what you went through. Tell me about your day. What happened? Just walk me through it. You start to kind of coach them a little bit. And you just come from this place of absolute love. Like you're not judging this little version. You just want to listen and hold space. Just like talk to me. This is the little child. Just talk to me. Open up. What's going on? And then they're like, oh, this happened and that, and I know better, and I should know better, and oh, I did the thing. La, 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 la. You go, okay, all right, that makes sense. I understand. That sounds pretty frustrating. Like, yeah, and then I pushed them, and I dropped all my crowns, and it's like, yeah, that's unfortunate. And then after you know that child got a chance to really just express themselves, and you go, great, thank you so much for sharing. Maybe and then maybe you just like want to stop, say it's okay, and then you just take a moment, and maybe you don't even necessarily say much. You just want to give them love. So you're like, well, would you like a hug? They're like, yeah. Like, okay, let's hug. And then you hug them and you just imagine like you're hugging. It's okay. You made that mistake. Like, oh, really? It's like, yeah, it's all right. Like, and then you start to embrace and then you say, well, what would you like to do instead? What would you like to happen for yourself? That's a little different. And they say, well, next time I want to, I just want to draw. That's all I want to do. I just want to draw my friend. I'm like, okay, well, maybe next time you get to do that. Maybe ask a little nicer as opposed to demanding, whatever the mistake was. And you just relive this experience. And I'm just bringing this, in this example, you relive this experience with your inner child and begin to create this other story that has a different outcome. And know that there's something to switch, something to be guided directly. It's a little bit different. And just be gentle.
Be nice.
Be nice.
Be nice.
Be nice. Well, we're approaching. I didn't do the singing part of the activation, so that's okay. I think we're gonna I feel good
I'm
about
gonna let you do that. I'm gonna stay on the chat, but I'm gonna
yeah.
disappear from the video. So you have your moment, Queen. See you later.
No
I'll talk to
worries.
you.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
see
you
you
so
later.
much.
Good to see you.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, love. Mm.
Mm.
So normally I go to the singing part, so we're a little over. I got really passionate about the talk, and we're gonna go and just bring and I hold that to your heart. And before I do, I'm going to do the last part, which is going to be an actual activation. You're welcome to stay longer for this. It's going to be activation to help release. It's going to be a release, and I'm going to do um, a more thorough activation at 9 p.m. on TikTok. If you have TikTok, let me know. But I wanted to offer something really of value, and I think it's an opportunity to go a little bit deeper with this because this is what I'm talking about is very deep, and we're all just going through this together. And I just wanted to invite this opportunity of these activation Mondays. I've been working on them for a while. And I understand that sometimes this hour you can get a lot out of it, but I would like to offer some extra support. And it's just a way to go deeper. And if you feel at any point in resonance of what I'm saying about like the patterns of how do I do this? How do I catch this? And I don't know. Uh, and you just need like extra support. I actually opened a few spaces this week for one-on-one experience called the Remembrance Activation. And we're going to go into that in just a moment right now. I'm actually going to do the activation. This is something that I created and they put together as a private session offering that uncovers what we're talking about today, which is the unconscious belief, the emotional patterns, basically the inner stories that's been shaping our lives, and just recognizing it. And it's one thing like recognizing it, but also like what do you do about it? And we talked a little bit today about it and what to do. This is like some basic tools. And if you want to go deeper, there's a whole process that you can go deeper and really, really like get guided so you can understand what the programming is and have the power to actually change the story and trajectory of what is you wanting to let go of. Discover the hidden patterns and then reconnect with your own truth. This is what's most important is knowing that you do know what's true for yourself and then create new beliefs and perspectives and stories. And there's a whole process that you can actually do for yourself that can change and rewire your brain that you don't have to like live these patterns for the rest of your life because you don't. You don't. So I'm just putting that out there. And if you feel a resonance, just send me a direct message. You can say, just put that in the message, remembrance, and I'll give you more details about that. So now I'm going to end this evening with an activation. So if you're still here, thank you so much. And this is a what I call it's like a light language activation. It helps because we stirred a lot of things up and it will help bring it up and then also put it in, just kind of release it whatever stuck energy, things like that. And also it ignites certain things within you that maybe a lot of times, a lot of people when they experience this, they feel it like a version of themselves. Like a remembrance of who they are, which is often sometimes the inner child or even before that. So it really ignites this part that is really wanting to come out and be like, here I am. This is who I am. So that's what this process is going to be. So I invite you to close your eyes if you can. I'm trying to get comfortable here myself. And I'm just going to do a few minutes of this. I know we're a little over, but please feel free to just find yourself in a relaxed place and ground yourself a little bit. So let's take some breaths in. I didn't get a chance to do that earlier. So if you're with me now, just take a nice deep breath into the chest. We're going to get started that way. So go ahead and breathe into the chest all the way in, breathing through the nose into the chest and then hold it. Breathing in and in through the nose and just hold right here. And just really, this is meant to relax your nervous system and then release the breath. Okay, just kind of relaxing. You could do it with your eyes closed. My eyes are open right now, but feel free to just listen. And then once again, breathing through the nose all the way in, all the way into the chest. Just hold it there and then release. And once again, breathing all the way into the chest. I'm going to go into this gentle activation, breathing all the way in. And really hold it there. Whatever tension, whatever you may have felt during this time, or maybe, whatever you need to release, just like let that go. Just be where you are. I'm going to do a little movement in the energy with my hands. I can do this digitally too. And just relax into this space, knowing that you don't have to live these patterns. You don't have to let these stories be the story running in the background of your mind. That you are the one that gets to create your own story. And even though there may be situations or results in your life that seem to be unchangeable, it's not about changing everything all at once. It's only about connecting within your deeper truth and your deeper wisdom that knows how to come back to yourself so that you can make different choices and not let these stories come in to repeat itself by just being aware. And let those parts go that yes, you repeated the same pattern, you did these things over and over again. And we're going to go beyond letting go. And then beyond forgiveness, even just going into a place of like, yes, I did do these things, but I didn't know at the time that I was repeating this. And now that you get to become this best friend that will guide you through so you can make different choices. And just close your eyes a little bit more. Let's do the last part of the activation. And just see this version of yourself where you're made this change in your life, that something has shifted, that suddenly you've made a different choice, that you were able to do something a little bit different than you have done before. And that thing, that idea that you wanted to manifest, the pattern you wanted to release, and the way you react to your life has suddenly changed. Perhaps you're not finding yourself getting as upset as you once were. When other people would show up, it could trigger you, and now you find yourself not being triggered as much. And just go into this journey where you find yourself coming from this other side, where you're not living the same story. And maybe you can even begin to imagine a new story. What new story would that be? And so we'll go a little bit deeper, deeper, deeper into this journey of the story. And just seeing where it goes here. What paths would you like to take? Where would you like to go? What would change for you? Use your imagination to be your guide of how to rather than what you're familiar with. And just allow this space for yourself as you're here watching. We're going to do a little release right now. So I'm going to change and do a little channeling. Soya, soya no. Kuya no mianania sa. Kuya no ya no mia sa. Keia, keia seia ho. Ke asaya no mi ya ho. Ke ano mi anasata no mi aso. Ke ana mi asa. Koi asa ya ho. sa, kea somia, kosha. Kea sa, koia, koia seia no mie so. Kea sa mea no mi kono sha. Kea namasa. Koia, koia. Ia so ke ana sa koe ana he ia. Ia so. Shia no rasei, kia no ia sa ia ho. Korana ia satya no miana. Ke aso ke asa shia tarasia kora koyana e asa oya oya oh. And just take a deep breath in to wherever you are, just breathing into your chest, all the way in. And I thank you so much for showing up here. Thank you for your presence. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. And please send me a message if you have any questions or anything about this activation, any questions about the pattern. And again, if you need any extra support, let me know as well. And again, I do have a few one-on-one sessions available, so we can always go deeper, which obviously go a lot deeper than the live. But most of all, I will be doing this every Monday, and I have a new topic every Monday that I will be doing for next Monday. I haven't released that yet, but I will this week. And I will be back here again live on Instagram. So this is the debut live on Instagram. I will be back here at 7 p.m. next Monday with a new topic. So we're going to go do some deep inner work and and just really come together as community, and then also the activation at the end. So thank you again so much. Sending everyone so much love. All right, I'm going to end it now if I remember how to do this. So wishing you a beautiful week. And remember, you are the magic, be the magic, and be gentle with yourself.